I gotta turn you on. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back with Party Size Cycling. Andrew again. It's been a little while. That's what we were just chatting about. I was traveling and then I was sick. So last week I felt good enough to stream, but I just couldn't get enough words out without coughing. So skipped it. So a lot better tonight. Still have a little bit of cough, so you'll still hear me once in a while, but not a big deal. So, anyways, how's it going with you?
Hey, it's good. My streak of doing something every day ended last week.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was reading a book at like 11:50 and was like, I didn't do anything today. So a busy day and just didn't plan it, and it got away from me. So the streak's over.
Is it a relief or is it like at first? I'm sure there was
Somewhat, yeah,
a sense of that it
yeah. So
sucked.
it was
But
429 days, and then like on Monday was the first time in 430 days or whatever that I went for a bike ride and like I didn't have to.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like I didn't have to worry about how far I went or how whatever or like gotta get it done. It was just like I would like to go for a bike ride. I went for a
yeah.
bike ride. Want to go for a hike today? I went for a hike today. It feels I'm still doing something almost every day, but it's like the pressure is off for sure. Because there were some nights where like I would forget, and then I'd be like, "Holy crap! I have to do some sort of like body weight workout, like
Yeah.
in the living room at 11:30 when I got home from something to like keep the streak alive." So yeah, it feels good.
Naptown asked if you're quieter than usual, so I just turned you up because they usually say you're too loud and I'm too quiet. So hopefully I've
Yeah,
got.
we
Oh,
we just talked about my fancy new microphones. Apparently, they had a little piece of plastic over the charging connectors that I had not realized. So it's been not charging for the last ever since I got them. It lasted 2 streams though, so it lasted a month on a battery charge. That's pretty
not
good.
bad. Yeah.
Like I'll take it.
I actually had
Um,
a little freak out moment with the mic because I usually remember because the wireless mic, I think, is the one that you're hearing me on, but they're hearing me on like the nice mic. And then I was like, oh
mhm.
God, I've been gone for 3 weeks. Did I ever charge that wireless mic? And so I plugged it in at 8:30, hoping it would get enough. But when I turned it on, it said 80%. So I was like, I dodged a bullet on not thinking of something for the stream tonight as well with the microphone. So, oh, good. They said it's more balanced, so I should have it pretty good now. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I don't have the kind of equipment like a true podcaster would, where their headphones would actually be plugged into hearing the streams feed. I don't have the hardware to
Mhm.
make that happen, so I have to rely on what you guys hear because I can only hear what it sounds like for the two of us. But the mic that you hear me talk on is not what they hear me talk on, so it's crazy. Yeah.
Or you're secretly the most amazing live caster ever and do this to get the chat going
yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
every week people need to start commenting about the audio.
Yeah. I also do.
It's a feature, not
Yeah. Yeah. Engagement. True engagement farming. Let's see. I
yeah.
do want to move us a little more centered. There we go. I had there. Perfect.
Well, it
This
says
time.
they see nothing. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
don't know
mean
what
we're
Ricky
not?
means by that one. So it's
Ricky,
no.
clarify yourself.
It should be. It shows me that we have a good, strong signal and everything is coming through. So yeah,
Yeah.
and no one else is complaining about that.
Apparently he's found us.
Yeah, cool. So let me
Standing.
get that off. Cool. Now everything is set. So what's up, Clunky? Good evening. So yeah, good crew in here tonight. A lot of the regulars. Yeah, so like you said, you broke your streak. Obviously, what I was up to is I had the flu and I caught it in Maui, which really sucks. So I had a few great days, and then I had a
Mhm.
few days where it took every ounce of strength to try and not ruin Aaron's trip, and then also try to at least get a little bit of enjoyment out of seeing one of the coolest places in the world myself. But it was tough. It was really, really tough. It was the worst flu I've ever had. So and we were there for a wedding, and most of the people in the wedding caught it on different days as well. And I think I might have caught it from them, because we had a welcoming party on like the third day we were in
Mhm.
Hawaii, and it turns out the dad was sick, and so maybe I caught it that evening, but maybe we all caught it on the airplane.
Yeah, it's
Who
really
knows?
hard to tell with that. Maybe it's the universe saying, like, how dare you try to take two nice weather winter
Yeah, I
vacations?
know exactly.
Like, I don't think so, Tim. Bow.
Yeah. We went up, we drove up. Maui has two volcanoes, but there's the one that's 10,000 feet. And one of the things I wanted in the back of my mind, I was like, I would love to take the bike up there and climb it and just see if I could do it. Because Aaron would have driven up and done some hikes, and so I would have had to bail out if I couldn't handle it. But we drove up one day, and just a couple little hikes we went on when we drove up there, I literally felt like I was gonna die because you're taking a respiratory illness and then going to like a place where you could get elevation sickness anyways. We hiked up like 20 stairs to the observatory, and I literally felt like I was gonna absolutely pass out. Then I got cold, and then everything just went to hell. So I'm like trying to like force myself to pull, like take a picture with your nice camera. It's so beautiful, and I'm like, but everything in me is like, I just want to get back in the car. Like I just want to go back and sit in the car. So
That's a bummer.
yeah,
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't get the chance to watch the video, but I'm assuming you got like a day or so of like, you can ride at least.
yeah, we had one. The first day we got to the area where the wedding was going to be and where we were spending the rest of the time in Hawaii. We had a day where I got a 40-mile ride in. We swam in the ocean. We went to a brewery. So I did get a great
Okay.
day in that part of Maui, and we had spent a couple days before that in the state park, which is like in the rainforest and off the beaten path, and just absolutely stunning. Everything you picture of Hawaii, the lava flow rocks, the waves crashing, the palm trees. Like, so I didn't get nothing out of the trip. It was definitely still like
Cool.
cool, but yeah, you're laying in bed looking like shivering, looking at the rental bike that you spent 300 bucks on, just wishing you could ride it, and you're like, no, there's no part of me that could get up and push that thing out the door right now. So yeah,
Bummer.
that's how it
Big
goes.
bummer.
Yeah, and
Yep.
everyone keeps asking like, would you go back? And it's like one of those things. It's like Hawaii is so goddamn far that like, would I go back? Do I want to see more? Do I want to do a couple of the things we had on the list? Of course, but if you're going to spend the money, you're like, I could go to anywhere in
Zed
Europe and it would be
Robbins
close and,
subscribed
and
to the
cheaper
channel.
than that would
Right.
be. So it's hard
Yeah.
to.
Just because Hawaii, like, just everything is expensive, right?
Mhm.
Is the island factor.
So get this is interesting. I read this. I had a lot of time to read, obviously, so I know a lot of the history and all this stuff. But it's not just the island factor that makes Hawaii so expensive. There's the shipping industry has all these protectionist laws in place. Everything that
Mm.
comes by ship to Hawaii has to come from U.S. ports. So even if you were going to get something from the Chinese, it has to go to L.A. first and then get shipped
Japan or
over.
something. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's just
Got it.
total bullshit, just a total protectionist policy, totally anti-capitalist, totally put in place by the Republicans, like typical BS that just protects an industry and has no real function and is a lie about everything they say they believe. So, and that is actually why Hawaii is so expensive. So, anyways, yeah.
Uh, Fair enough. But yeah, I think that's part of the problem too, right? Is like, so even if you get a decent flight, like nothing there is cheap.
No,
So you're still
it feels like
tons
New
of
York.
vacation.
It feels like New York City prices is what I would kind of
Yeah.
relate it to.
Because I remember at least, what was it, a year and a half ago, some friends of mine went to Japan and they were like, the exchange rate on the yen is like fantastic right now. So it's like the cheapest it costs less to go to Japan at this point than some places in the United States.
Hmm.
If you're there long enough to like counteract the flight, because the flight's still somewhat expensive, but if you can find a cheap flight, like everything in Japan is like noticeably cheap because of the exchange rate.
It does make traveling to Hawaii so convenient because it is a U.S. state, so there's nothing
Mhm.
you have to worry. I
Yeah.
mean, everything is like English. The street signs are street signs. The money is the American dollar, and so even like versus sometimes going to somewhere beautiful like the Caribbean, which isn't that far, where you still have there could be a language barrier, a money barrier, stuff you just have to think about, different signage. It is interesting to be in the most isolated place on planet Earth, but it's an American state, so everything functions
Yeah.
the way you expect it to for the most part. So, yeah. So, anyways, do you want to pivot to our lists? We
Yeah,
brought
sure.
a like and a dislike again today, and again, I have all my caveats when I bring up my likes and dislikes, but because I don't really care what people do, but I still have my opinions. I would actually. I'll start this time with
Yeah,
my
right.
TPU rant because it also came up in Discord today, which was like perfect timing, and it was. And I haven't tried TPU tubes yet, and so for people who don't know, they're like an improvement on the latex tube, where they're lightweight like latex, but they don't lose air like latex. And so the benefits are they're lighter, they're supposed to roll faster, um, but they cost like 30 to 40 bucks.
Yeah, it's like astronomical.
So in my caveat, where usually I say when there's something we don't really care about, I'm like, well, except for extreme mountain bikers, they should probably use this stuff. This is the case where I think, except for roadies, I do see where TPU tubes make sense for roadie because I don't think road tubeless is a technology that people want to mess with at home that much yet because the higher pressures
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And if you're riding a roadie kit with just an under saddle bag, TPU tubes take up a tiny bit of space. So even if you're
Yep.
running normal tubes in your tires and you bring a spare, I get spending 35 bucks to have this tiny lightweight thing in your bag if you're a roadie. But for anyone else, so I looked up the weight differences because everyone keeps bringing up the weight. And so the difference per tire between a traditional butyl tube and a TPU would be about 100 grams. So 200 grams, say roughly for your bike. Your 20
Mhm.
ounces of water weighs 650 grams, and you're carrying more than 20 ounces of water. And
Yeah.
again, and we're talking. So I think that's always something important to remember. And then I think people always forget. They look at these little differences and forget the system. What do you weigh? What does your bike weigh? So what percentage of your overall package is a 200-gram saving? Nothing.
Hmm.
It's nothing. It's not noticeable, and it turns out that rotational weight on bikes is a myth. So, they are better than butyl tubes in pretty much every way except for they're finicky to install, from what I understand. Because I even watched Jan Hein from Renee Hurst put out a whole video on how to put them in, and it looks like a little pain. So if you're doing it on the roadside, it'd be even more of a pain. And so I'm just like,
Hmm.
where does it end? Because I'm already annoyed when I go to buy a regular tube now and they're like 10, 12 bucks, when I feel like they used to be $3, $5. That 30, 40 bucks, that's where I draw the
Old
line.
man shouting at
Yeah,
the
I know.
sky.
I know. That's just like, one, I'm tubeless. Like, yeah, definitely. One, like, my two main bikes are tubeless, and I think that's still the better thing for someone who rides over broken glass and busted up roads and mixes everything up. I still prefer tubeless, and tubeless has its own set of pain in the ass stuff. What I do is I get it set up at the shop, and now I maintain it myself. So I just try to put it in my calendar, put the tubeless sealant in there when I need to, and that now serves me well. I just feel like TPU for like alt cycling, gravel cycling, non-racing is like an expensive solution in search of a problem. So,
Sure. I have actually, so I've never installed or ridden on a TPU tube, but I do own one. And the reason why I own one is because of the you alluded to at first, which is the volume that it takes up makes it a really easy thing to like shove into my like toolkit
mm-hmm.
along with all my other stuff. Um, and so instead of like the entire toolkit being taken up by a tube, I have plenty of room for all the other stuff. So I don't complain. One thing that would normally be for a regular butyl tube is now everything, right? I have all my tools and all my stuff in there. So that's the only reason why I have it. I still have yet to use it. I will say every time I've seen somebody go to try to use their spare TPU tube, it has not worked for them. So I'm a little nervous should I ever have to use it. But I mainly run tubeless. I don't usually have problems as long as I don't forget to put sealant in. And then, but what I was going to say is I heard that a lot of people have problems that are using them as spares because they keep them in like because it comes in that nice little concise box. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like the little cardboard thing. Um, Apparently that's terrible for it because apparently then it like as it like gets moisture and stuff like that, the cardboard will like stick to it, and then like as it comes apart, it like is often like I guess messing up the tube.
Hmm.
So you're not supposed to do that. The people like recommend putting it into another bag or like wrapping it in some other plastic or something like that, and then putting it in there. I still just have it in the car.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so that's I can't agree or disagree, but I did the marketing did get me not for the weight, but for the space savings.
And I definitely agree with the idea of like, I run tubeless and I carry a tube. So
Mm-hmm.
it would make sense. I usually run pretty big bags, so it's not a big deal. But sometimes I do put my whole toolkit, like on my gunner, in that bag that's underneath the down tube. And having a TPU in there would make everything fit perfectly, where now it's like a tight squeeze. So I'm not against it for that. Like I said, I'm not against it for roadies. I do think like it makes more sense than latex because the latex are a pain, even more than it seems like these TPUs would be. And again, like I said, I just don't think if I wasn't someone who had a mechanic working for me, like racing, that I would want to deal with tubeless for like road riding. And then
Yeah,
maybe there you're going to notice the weight or they're supposed to roll faster, all that stuff. But just for like the whole alt cycling world, when I see people leaning towards them, and I'm like, I don't know. I have a Jack the Rack with a Zeitgeist on the front of my bike. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like the weight, the rolling resistance, like all this stuff. I'm just not seeing it as an advantage over tubeless or even just the cost effective. Putting
yeah,
$60 to $80 worth of tubes in your bike, meaning you have to have another tube in there in case something happens.
right.
Over $100 worth of inner tubes. Like, there's got to be a line somewhere, right?
No, yeah, this is the most expensive shoe that I hope to only ever buy once because I'm never going to use it in
Yeah,
theory.
yeah.
I can't honestly. It's been a while. It's been like 2 years. I say that now. I'm going to jinx myself since I need to actually bust out a spare on the tubeless setup. Like I've been pretty lucky. Um, but what was I going to say? But fun fact though, I got so the ride. I'll talk about the ride a little bit because it weaves into one of my picks. But like went on a 40-mile ride on Saturday, got home. Sunday morning went down to like clean up the bike and the tube was flat because I didn't put any sealant in it from the fall, like the last time I ever rode the bike. So we're gonna go do it. But my freaking compressor, I have a pancake. It won't. It's like something broke in that, so it like will not generate enough pressure to like seat the tube. So I got to go find a friend and get some good air. But it's funny because yeah, like I was like, wow, that would have been really bad if that had happened yesterday
Yeah.
or the day I was going to do the ride. But luckily, I got away with it, so I haven't. And I really, so that's the bike that has that TPU spare, but I don't want to use that because I now I need to probably just try to do like the tubeless trick of like put the spare in to seat it and then break a little bit of it to put the sealant in.
Yeah.
So now I need to like dig up a spare that is the TPU.
Yeah. So now you still have to buy a butyl tube.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm sure I have one. I just have to go
Yeah.
dig it out of the closet, or go harvest it from one of my other 700 bikes. But 700 wheel size bikes
Yeah.
that I own 700 bikes. Um,
Yeah. I'm just
cool.
surprised, I guess, by all the hype about him. I'm just like, I get it. Like it seems like Jan Hein, and again, I'm like kind of a Jan Hein fanboy. I think I'm wearing my Renair's cap right now.
Yeah.
Like, I love the tires. I love a lot of the theories, a lot of the stuff they've come up with. But even when they're talking about them, they're really talking about racing, and I'm just like,
Sure.
and again, but he is one. I also disagree. He's one of the people who said there's nothing that takes more time in racing than standing by the side of the road, and that's where I just watch the way people plug tubeless tires and go right away. And there's no way you could put a new TPU tube on the side of the road and the
No.
way you do that. And plus, you're supposed to put them in without air in them. So, like, unlike a butyl tire where you like kind of pump it up and it gives you that form, and if you have too much, you let a little out and it helps you like get it in. TPU tubes don't. You're not supposed to put pressure in them until they're in a tire. So now you're putting this flat thing, and the valves have improved. Originally, the valves were really bad. Like, they've
Okay.
improved. So they don't are the stems where they attach to the tubes, and
Sure. Yeah, I knew you would. Yep.
yeah, and so even your 2 year old one might be a little more of an issue, but so you have to be very careful with those and everything. So I don't know. They got me to switch to tubeless, and now I like am so trusted on tubeless, and I just don't think going back to tubes because they came out with a slightly better tube is the move. Like,
I don't think I actually, to be honest, I never heard that they were better. I just heard that they were lighter and that they were good for a spare. Like I don't know anybody that actually runs them as their day in day out tube. I thought that was the whole, like literally, I thought they were the whole point of them, especially because of how much they cost, was that they were just intended to be spares. So I'm learning that people actually consider using these as their everyday tubes. And how many bikes do you have? Like, there's no way.
I know.
So you're running tubes in all your bikes, and now you got to pay that much, $40 a tube times two, $80 a bike and tubes plus spares. So you're 160 times 7 bikes.
Yeah,
We're talking about a cool G.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I just buy a Chris King headset.
Yeah. No, all right. Yeah. There's not, you don't have to sell me too hard on this. That's dumb. But for lack, if you have a tubeless system, I will say that is spare. It's great.
Yeah, again, I agree. Yeah, I agree with the idea that they make sense to buy one as a spare because it is pretty rare for me to actually put a tube into the tubeless. Now that I'm like maintaining them, I was doing a really shitty job of maintaining my tubeless setup, and I was running out of. Yeah, I was just being dumb, and now I'm just making sure I put tubeless sealant in my tires once in a while. So yeah.
I will say this. So I bought one of those dumb syringe things, and it really does make it a lot easy. Like I dread tubeless refill day every 6 months a lot less than I did. I put it off for way less long. If that makes sense. Because yeah, you just like fill the thing up, and you can get a couple tires done with one fill up. So you can always get 2 bikes done. So if I have 2 fills up of the thing, I can probably get 4. I don't think all my bikes aren't tubeless, so like probably 2 fills of the stands syringe thing, and I'm good.
Yeah.
For the day. It's a little messy. It doesn't exactly get everything in. I think the Park Tool one is better, but I think I've gone flip flopped on this product a couple times since I originally got them. But the Fillmore valves, I don't know if we've ever talked about that in here, but for tubeless valves, a little spendy. But they solve all the problems with Presta. They don't have that little like delicate little thing that you have to, screw and unscrew that always gets messed up. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, if you like Google it, but like Fillmore valves, I think I forget what the actual. There's a that's the name of the product. I forget what the name of the company that makes them is, but they don't make a ton of other stuff. But basically, it's a valve where when the tire is flat, the little plunger in the valve can move freely, so you can fill a lot of air into it. Once it has pressure, then creates a seal against the the little gasket thing, and that will prevent the air from leaking out. So basically, when it's flat, it lets a ton of air in, and then when you stop, it basically self-seals itself. So you don't have to screw the thing in. You don't have to worry about doing it. I then just it comes with a cap. The cap was sort of annoying, but I just threw the caps off, and I've never had a problem with these valves at all. Every once in a while, and the sealant does not get super gummy in there like it does with the Presta. The one time I've had it happen, I just had to jiggle it a little bit, and it will kind of break itself free and allow it to now do that. So when I am setting up bikes going forward, I'm using them. It is a little spendy. It's I believe $50 for a set of valves, which is not cheap. But if you're buying that once and then not, this isn't a replaceable product, so you pretty much have to buy it once for the life of the valve. The wheel, realistically. And I think the muck-off ones are $20, so $30. What are they? I forget what the muck-off ones are. I haven't bought them in a while, but they're not cheap either. So I feel the once in a while that you're setting a bike up tubeless, it's worth it. To then not have to deal with the hassle. And actually, what's really nice is when you go to fill the tire up regularly, if you have gotten rid of the little plastic cap, you don't have to unscrew anything. You just put the pump head on and start pumping. So you don't, if you have gloves on, if it's cold, if you do whatever, doesn't matter. You just pop that on there and go, and it fits all the Presta stuff because it's the same size. The only thing it doesn't do is if you have novelty Presta cap valve stem covers, those won't work because the little plunger thing is a little bit longer, so it won't actually reach the screw on thing.
Pretty minor, yeah.
Yeah, pretty minor.
Yes,
unless you're road trips.
Yeah.
That's a pretty major deal.
Yeah, your whole entire business. Yeah, I've never.
Crumbling for you.
I'm someone who's still, and so again, it's not broke, so don't fix it. I have never had my Presta valves clog up, but Erin has, my girlfriend, problems all the time with hers getting clogged with sealant. So even before,
Mhm.
just like, I got home from my trip and I went for one ride, and the next day one of my tires was flat, and so I'm like, I probably went beyond the sealant thing, and it was sitting. Pulled the core out. I built my own little thing, like a plunger, and I found like there's all this old
Mhm.
photography chemical stuff here in the old dark room. Found stuff that fit perfectly, so I made my own, filled it up, put it back in, and again, no, I'm just, and I think it's luck. I think it's straight up luck because I have two bikes. I bought one with the fancy anodized Presta valves, and one just has the regular run of the mill that you get the cheapest at the bike shop. And I've somehow just been lucky where I've never had sealant issues with my Presta
Mhm.
valves. Then again, I can't set them up on my own, so there. I mean, I can't get enough
Yeah,
air to set them up on my
I
own.
haven't
So
mastered that either. I can't get the tape right. Somebody D-Dub 650. How do you check seal levels with Fillmore valves? You just add more.
yeah, just add
I've
more.
never, I've never dipsticked my sealant.
Me either.
I'm like put a thing on my calendar like once every 6 months to like go and I'm going to do it this weekend. I'm going to just do the whole fleet at once, and then I'll do it one more time, usually late summer, and then that's it, and then it's fine. I mean, you can if you shake a wheel, you can usually hear if there's sealant in
You
it.
could tell, and
Um,
I usually could tell because I come home one day and my tires are flat.
yeah, I mean that's really what it is.
But I found like 6 months doesn't work for me. But that's also on. I run the standard casing Renaers on my gravel bike, which they weep. There's no doubt about it. And so that needs like that's more on like a 3 month rotation. And then just with the gunner, I ride it so hard that even though I have the endurance, not even the endurance, yeah, the endurance casing on that, I still find that I probably burp my tires once in a while. So I still even on that one, I stick to more like now a 3 month schedule on adding sealant. And I'm like you,
Mhm.
I'm not checking it. I'm just like it probably
Yeah,
needs some sealant. And I what I'll do a lot of times is I won't put in the full recommended amount on the 3 month schedule. I'll just make sure I'm adding a decent amount. I don't do it like a science. I do it like an art. You know. So,
yeah, dude, Matt, you do it once a month. You're an insane person.
oh really? He said Matt said he puts.
I'm assuming that's what he means by once a month, and
Oh
then
yeah.
I'm a
Well,
clown. Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
dude, you are a clown.
It's like the people who put the
It doesn't.
Brooks saddle.
I mean, unless every time you go to add it, there's no sealant in there, then I guess you're not a clown. But
Yeah.
man, yeah. Oftentimes, after 6 months, I still got plenty of sealant in mine. And the nice part is, if you go through the valve and you're not breaking the bead, like that's stays in there. Like I don't know if you've ever like taken an old one off and actually cleaned the stuff out, but like it's got a pretty good airtight seal around that, so it prevents any more sealant from being needed as long as you kind of keep the bead on there.
I've definitely
Um,
ridden tires with no sealant in them for like 2 months. Like by the time they went
same,
flat, there was there was nothing, and then I put a tube in it on the road, and I'm like, everything is dry. So it was just sealed around
yeah,
that thing, and then I finally hit something that did it in. But yeah, you could go a long time with no sealant if it's sealed up well. You know, like
I agree. Um, but like I said, yeah, I gotta figure out. I've really become accustomed to having the pancake compressor with the just blasting it open, and so I either have to learn how to fix those, which maybe I'll do that, but like in the meantime, I need to find. Anyway,
yeah,
enough about that.
yeah. I think that was like
Or,
again, and like I'm not mad at anyone for running them. I just don't want that much money in tubes in my bikes. That's my basic thing for
I
the
agree.
kind of riding I do. Like, and again, there's cases where it makes sense, backup makes sense, but yeah. So
The council agrees.
yeah.
Hopes and prayers, Tubeless Club. Yeah. Orange is my Samuel 5 Orange. I specifically the Orange Endurance. I have never had a problem with. I've had a problem with stands. I've had a problem with the muck off stuff, but the Endurance Orange Seal Endurance has never failed me.
I'm trying to look at what mine is because Ben specifically sold me something for the Renaers and the velocity wheel combination that he said he knows works the best, and I think the bottle is orange, so it might be orange seal, but it's definitely he was like he knows certain ones do not work with the standard casing Renaers. He's like, don't use it. And then they also Velocity sent me a different replacement rim because some of the sealant had corroded the super silvery ailerons, and they were like, they took the credit. They were like, this is our fault. Like, this sealant like did eat the rim, but it shouldn't have. And so now they've sent me ones that are not quite
Okay.
as silver anymore, and they're supposed to hold up better. So yeah. Anyways, that's something. Again, and I can't remember what the two combination was, but if you have the super mirrory velocity wheel set, you need to be careful about what sealant you put in
Okay.
your tires. Yeah.
Good enough. I don't have one. If I did, be shaken.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not true. I did. It was the tire. It was for whatever reason on the SimWorks site, it said that their tires are not tubeless compatible except with velocity wheels. They could say it was. And I was like, that's weird, but I have velocity wheels, so let me try. It was not. I had so many problems, and then I switched to, I put it like early extraterrestrials on there, and I've never had a problem since. Like, so it was definitely the tire rim combo that was not working.
William just brought up
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things. People put stuff in there, but I don't know that, like, I've never had to mess with anything with Orange Seal. It does its job every time I go in there afterwards. Like, if I'm finally changing, like, end of lifing a tire, it's still like I have to break the thing off, and it's still like got a good stretchy amount of like dried sealant, like sealing up all the stuff. It's good. I also do run thicker casing, so I'm not dealing with weeping or with like micro tears or anything of that nature. So I'm not that worried about it. But
and also,
it's got the good stuff on the outside.
Some of the brands do put particulate in it factory now. There are certain, I think almost all the brands have like a level that does have some stuff in it now too, and it's for you have to read all the compatibility stuff and all that stuff. So.
Well, the Orange Endurance doesn't. It just gets really thick, like I think is the deal, and it's sealed up the couple times I've needed it to.
Cool.
Seems like a couple other folks are agreeing Orange is the way.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of Orange comments. Well, there was one guy who didn't like it, but yeah, it's a mix.
Well, was he using Orange or Orange Endurance? Yeah, that's again. I will agree. The thin stuff isn't as good. The Endurance is where it's at. If anybody from Orange Endurance listening, I don't accept sponsorships usually. I will gladly take some 32-ounce tubes of Orange Endurance.
Every single coffee outside brought to you by Orange Endurance Sealant.
Absolutely. We'll pour a little in the... use it as creamer. Let's go.
Yeah. Someone gets a cut, just rub some orange sealant.
Rub it in there. It'll form a nice rubber barrier over it.
Yeah. So, do you want to jump into your like or dislike?
I'll jump into my like. Because I have to go look at the sheet to remember what I put for dislike. So this is not the first time I've used this product, but this weekend was Tim Ho's 4th annual Very Chill Party Pace. We won't drop you. Sandy Hook coffee outside. Probably cold. Hold on, there's more to the name. I can't. Won't show me the full name. Something about there would probably be cake. There was no cake. But anyway, we did it right this weekend. It was the last shitty day of before the nice. We were like, oh, it's going to be like high 40s, 50s. Tim had planned this thing months out and just luckily nailed this date. It was not. It was cold and wet, and my feet were freezing, and it was gross. But anyway, we had a great time. But Sandy, for those that don't know, Sandy Hook is part of the Jersey Shore. It's a national recreation area, not a national park, but it is a federal thing. Basically, it's down by the area known as like Middletown or the Highlands, Atlantic Highlands. This is where Kevin Smith made famous. In fact, we stopped at the Quick Stop from Clerks on this ride. Highlands is where he grew up, got flooded. His car got ruined in a hurricane. He got a FEMA claim from that car getting ruined. That's the money that he used to make Clerks. Fun fact file. So anyway, we were in this general area, but the Hook is this thing that juts off the the coast there for like, I think it goes for like 3 or 4 miles just out into the ocean, sort of. It's cool area, like good for birds and stuff and things like that. But it's man, is it windy because you have nothing like it's just like a big thing jutting out of the ocean, so you're getting just like annihilated with the wind. But more importantly, it was wet and there's some soupy trails left. There was a lot of like still snow and ice and stuff like that. But I had on my Ass Savers Wind Wing, which is not the first time I've used this product, but I was very glad I did because everybody else had the biggest poop stain going up their back. And at one point, even I was riding behind. Who was I riding behind? And I was like, literally, was like, I'm gonna go ride behind somebody with fenders. Goodbye. I just like took off. So I was just getting annihilated from their bike.
I always say that, like riding with fenders. If you ride with people without fenders, it does you no good. Like at Road App on Saturday, it was so nice because me and Ben both had fenders and rode together, and we were riding full fenders. But yeah, sometimes like you'll get way more blasted from a bike in front of you than you know. So.
Yeah. I was catching a mouthful. And I don't know if we can pull it up on my computer is lagging, but I don't know if we can pull it up on the thing. But specifically the product, Ass Savers has a lot of products.
Wind Wing is what you're talking about?
Wind Wing specifically is, so to explain the product, if you have not seen it, it is a two-parter. So it has I want to say plastic, but it's a little bit beefier than that. I want to say it's like some, what is that made out of? I don't know, but it's flexible. It's very like well made. It's not like cheap plastic, and it has two sort of things that go on the chain stays and a very elegant like kind of strap system to get those onto the chain stays. It comes up and there's a plastic piece then that is removable very easily that clips into that and then goes back and covers your tire. And the reason I like it is because it's incredibly easy to like move it on and off, and I've used the ones that you can like just like slide into like the brake bridge, or like connect this to your the back of your bike somehow, and those never stay. They're always flopping around. Certainly if you forget to take them off before you like start driving with your bike on the back of your car, the thing is freaking gone. But these I've had great success with. They stay in place. I often just do not even bother taking them off. They're flopping like crazy in the back as I'm driving, but they've never had a problem. It's never come off in the wind, and it's fine when I get home. I may just have to like pop it back into place. I had the driest butt of the entire group, I would say. Even people with fenders. Like I said, I was catching stuff from the face from people behind me. But this product is only, I forgot to check to see how much it is. I think it's only like 30-something bucks, though. It's not very expensive. So I do not. Yeah, I do not love full fenders because they are a pain in the ass to put on, pain in the ass to take off. You almost have to like people that have fender bikes, like you have to commit to it. I don't ride enough in the rain that is worth it for me to have a fender bike. Also, the trail that we ride is notorious for everybody that has full metal fenders. You're just ding 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 the entire ride. It's miserable to ride with everybody on that trail with full fenders. That's miserable. Come on. So this solves that problem. If you get a nice tight fit there, it also fits wheels up to like the gravel one is the one I would recommend. They have a road, they have a mountain, which is kind of like, I kind of want to buy one of these and move it from bike to bike. This fits up to 60 millimeter tires. So unless you have a mountain bike with like real 2.5s on it, your ATV, maybe you need to buy the mountain bike one, but this should cover most tires. And it flat out works. Like, I at Gunks last year when it was super rainy, I had this on the bike then too, but was dry. No streaks up the back.
I think the big advantage is, so I'm someone who's always had a clip-on fender. Like same thing. That line up the back, I hate. I don't understand why anyone deals with it. Even roadies, like I've seen a couple pros race just with the under the seat, the original Ass Saver, and I even get that just to like give you a little protection. But I've always gone with the clip on the seat post, and when these came out, like I showed up last Wednesday for my friend's group ride, every single person had this exact one on their bike. I've always had the ones that just clip onto the seat post and do pretty much the same thing. I never understood the point of this, but I get it now because if you ride shorter bikes and you have rear bags, it's not going to fit. My bikes are so tall that it's just this is solving a problem that I don't have, but it's solving a problem that a lot of other people have with the traditional just clip on your seat post fender, But yeah, they're genius because now they're not interfering with your bag. It doesn't matter what size your bike is. It doesn't matter if you have rear bags on it because they're on your seat stays. So they make total sense. Like I said,
Yeah.
I haven't switched because the ones I use work for what I do, but I also ride bikes that are 60
Yeah.
equivalents.
If you have one that works for you, this isn't worth like running out and like buying and to replace the one that already works. But if you're contemplating a product like this, I cannot recommend this one highly enough. And again, like how secure it's on there, so that I drove the New Jersey Parkway 75 miles an hour all the way home. I look at it back in the rearview mirror, and it's comical how crazy it's flapping around there, and it was fine.
Another
Also,
advantage is they don't shift. So my seat post ones,
correct.
once in a while you've leaned your bike up against a wall, or you just didn't tighten it enough and you look back and it's off angle and it's not doing its job.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like these are always going to do the. They're always going to
Yeah,
be centered over your.
you're really on there, and there you can't really see it from this angle, but there's a little bit of like a padding on that the seat stay thing, and also it has that like little cup, so it fits really nice onto there. I've used it on a couple different bikes; they all seem to work, but it doesn't scratch up your paint
Nice.
as well, which is a nice feature, and super easy. So when you want to take it off, it's just two elastic straps that you just pop. You can do both. Like it's literally a 2-second operation to take it off, and it's maybe 30 seconds to put it on. Can't say enough good things about this product. The only thing I will say is I usually like to buy, because I don't shop on Amazon. Amazon really is the best deal for these right now because they're a UK company, so if you order directly from them, you're paying
Yeah.
that
Exchange
stuff.
of tariff, yeah.
And yeah, all that stuff. Or you can, like, plenty of places have them for sale. Like, they have just wholesale, but them wholesale or whatever, and they're dealing with it. But yeah, then you got to pay shipping and all that stuff too. But like, do that before you order from Amazon. But don't go to asssavers.com, because unless you're watching this from overseas, then sure, go for it. But if you're in the US, I would just Google it. You'll find other wholesalers and other like online
Bike Tires Direct has them. Because I was googling for the just for the thumbnail, and I saw that there were a number of US distributors that did have them. Because I have to do that thing where I'm trying not to find the web image where someone actually used an actual JPEG so I could drop it into the Photoshop. So I went through a lot of US websites that did have them for sale. So,
Got it.
Yeah.
Designs are okay. Like, I wouldn't say they're, depending on your taste, they're tend to be like loud and kitschy. They have like a black one, and they have one that's like supposed to kind of look like it's dirt flecked, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
I bought
That's
one
the one
because
that
it
we
said
have.
it was gold. Okay. I bought one that said it was gold because my bike is all black and gold. It was not gold. It was very yellow. But they apparently do, just none of the wholesalers, you buy directly from them, they just sell the blade. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just change out the blade. But that's I'm not going to pay for shipping and deal with all the whatever stuff I'll just deal with the color for the short amount of time that I need it. But yeah, coming into that rainy, gross season, our trail, the snow is finally gone, but there's like 2 spots that are still holding water that I didn't bring. I was like, the trail's dry, because it was for like the first 3 miles. When I was walking it the other day, got further and ended up with the brown butt.
I don't even mess around. Like, I put that clip on if I'm riding my non-fendered bike, like my drop bar gravel bike. I put it on all spring long. Like, it's just like, I hate having that wet butt. I absolutely can't stand it. But our one friend I've had on the stream, and he puts on the big bike swap in Akron. I happened to be in Hawaii when that happened. But we got a super check.
At Westkiss Lake 9408 super chatted $19.99. Here's to better weather and longer days on the bike.
Oh, thanks, Wes. Wes said, here's to better weather and longer days on the bike. 100%.
Here.
We got it in Ohio a little bit before you guys did, because our snow has now been gone since before I left. But yeah, anyways, thanks again, Wes. But yeah, our buddy Steadfast Fenders I've had on the stream. he makes like a front fender that kind of is like very simple and the same kind of material that goes under the front. And he made a similar one to the ass saver, and he put it on his website. He got a cease and desist in like 2 days.
Immediate.
Yeah, like they've got that shit locked and they are paying attention. And so yeah, they've got the patent. They're not messing around. So just
Fair enough. Somebody's asking about our respective weather. I would say we had a late storm. I don't know that you guys got that storm because it was sort of just, I feel like
you guys
East
got the
Coast, like
huge
the shore
one. We got a quick one while I was gone. That was already gone when I got home. So you guys got what?
Got
Like
it.
2 days, Dave, of like a quick dumping of snow, like right when I left.
Yeah.
But then it went like right away. Yeah.
So yesterday, I feel like was the first day that you could reliably ride snow free on trails.
Yeah, we've been weeks snow free, which is funny because you guys didn't get the snow till a few weeks after us on the East Coast either. So it just like our seasons were almost identical, but just shifted by a little bit because
We got that one like 2-footer though. Gosh, I'm trying to like January, late January maybe.
yeah. See, we
And
got
then
hit
it
in
stuck
November.
around.
Yeah, we got hit in November.
Okay,
So whereas
got
the
it.
East Coast stayed nice till what around Christmas, I think. So
Zach Buddha
It
subscribed
snowed
to the
around
channel.
Christmas, a little bit before, but it went away. But then, yeah, we haven't had snow for a month straight, like on the ground, like we did this year, and I can't remember how long. Usually, we'll get dumped on, but then it's gone. We had to good solid, making everything unusable, anything other than a road or a sidewalk unusable for quite a while. And they don't like plow our path or anything like that, so. And it's the start of most of our rides, so it was kind of just. Yesterday was the first day I got the full trail in on a ride.
yeah, that's how I felt like that, but it's mostly because I was gone and then I was sick. But everything has been opened up for probably at least 3 weeks on the trails. Would you say, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I was still seeing like in the deep valleys, snow, even on the road at Pearl Bay, me and Ben did on Saturday, like in like really shady spots, you could still see snow, and I was like, holy shit, because today it's 70, yesterday it was 70, so
That's our problem too. We have a spot called the Gorge. I think I've talked about on here, and it just doesn't get sun from either direction unless it's like it gets sun for just when it's directly overhead, and then it's behind cover. So that usually will remain impassable for a lot longer. So until there's usually a good rain. So we had a good rain last week that I think knocked it, and then the 60 degrees, it's going to go pretty quick. So we got sure.
yeah. I'm doing the having the channel meetup and everything a week from this weekend, and I also always ride on St. Patrick's Day, which is a week from today. So I just watched, and just like every year, we're getting this like beautiful, like not every year, but we're getting this like really wonderful early March, and it's just gonna like plummet back down when I have like people coming into Ohio and people to hang out with and stuff to do, and I'm like, because it's really ugly around here. I'm guessing New Jersey's probably not that different where you are when there's no leaves on the trees, and I'm like, this is a really pretty place. It's a tree city. It's won awards for the trees, But when there's no snow and no leaves on the trees in spring, and it's like 45, this is an ugly place. It's like power lines,
really?
and yeah, it
I
looks.
know I love our area when there's no snow and no
Really?
trees.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of like over. I love like most of where we ride is slightly elevated from the river, so you can actually see down the river. I went for a hike today, and actually I've never gone and done this hike. I've done a bunch of times, but I've always done it later in the season, or in fall when there's still leaves and stuff like that. So you can't actually see where you're hiking up to. It's like you come in from one way from the parking lot. It's like 800 1,000 feet of elevation in the first like half mile, and then it like slowly winds you back through. So you can take the really long way up, but I usually like to just like suffer for the first 20-30 minutes to get to the scenic part, do that. But so coming up, that I've never been able to like look up and actually see where we're hiking up into, because it sort of like goes so you can see this big cliff face to sort of, because it's this outcropping, and I never really got the scale of like how quickly and how like vertical it is until today, because it was the first time I could see it. So that when we're riding on the trail, when there's no leaves, you can see the entire river as we're going. You can see the dam, you can see the gorge, you can see all this stuff from our rail trail that you normally can't see when you can get glimpses of it, but you can't get this like full sort of
You get
panoramic
green
view.
green tunnel, like they talk about that with the gap and the CNO, and we get
Yeah.
that too. And there are like when the leaves first completely drop, there are some views I get where it reminds me of like, oh, this is kind of cool to see. But as our city goes and stuff like that, like if you come to the
Mhm.
studio and then we ride downtown to Dirty River, that looks just way better when it's green. Like it just looks like
Fair enough.
our canopies are filled in with all the maples and oaks, and like the streets are in the shade, and it's you don't see the power lines and stuff. So there's definitely specific things like you're talking about that I agree with. But again, I would still prefer to see them with snow because snow then also adds a kind of cool
That's a
element
good
to it.
point.
So
Problem is once it's snow because ours doesn't get plowed, we usually can't ride on it, so we usually don't get those views
yeah,
unless it's like a very thin dusting.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It goes
cool.
both
You want
ways.
to
I
go
do
on?
get that. Yeah, I'll go real quick with my like for this week, and it really ties in with the races last weekend. So I can't understand. So if you don't care about any professional sports, this is irrelevant. But if you watch men's pro cycling and you don't care about women's pro cycling, I really can't understand that because this is a sport where like I feel like they're one almost on the same level, but two like there are men right now that are so dominant in the sport, and it's watching history to watch them. So I don't want to take anything away from that. But to use last weekend's race, Strada Bianchi, one of my favorite, where they ride the white gravel roads in Italy. Tadej Pogacar, like so, I ride that same ride every year, so I don't get to watch it live. So I put on the women's race and I watched all the television coverage they have, and it was exciting from when the TV cameras came on to when the race ended. Like the whole entire thing was enthralling. There was a huge mistake where some of the lead group went the wrong way on the road. It added all this intrigue to it, and then this race ends with this like steep climb up into a medieval, Siena, which is just absolutely stunning.
Mhm.
And so they come into the final. One of my favorite teams, riders, EF rider, who won the world championships last year, hits the front, and I'm like, she's a climber. She might take this. And I like jump out of the couch, and I'm yelling, and I'm like, go Mags, go Mags. They drop back. Someone takes a turn. Kasia Nuadoma has the early inside. She's coming second like 4 times. I'm like, she's finally gonna win this. And so watching this race going absolutely bonkers, like here alone, my upstairs tenant probably thinks I'm completely insane. It ends, and so I'm like, cool. Now I'll flip on the men's race because it all happened earlier. When the TV cameras go on, Tadej Pogacar has already attacked from 70 kilometers out and already has a minute 30, and he holds it to the line. Like there, again, not to take anything
Yeah.
away from watching the GOAT, because he is the GOAT. Like, he is the greatest cyclist of all time. His numbers will never equal Eddie Merckx, but Eddie Merckx was racing against people who had day jobs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Pogacar is racing in an era when we never thought the guy who wins the Tour de France would even race a race like this again. The whole thing that's happened since U.S. Postal and Lance Armstrong, where everyone's specialized. This guy has changed everything. But even I just can't understand that on the same day you won't give an extra hour to women's pro cycling when right now it's just way more exciting than the men's. The
Yeah.
women are just as interesting. There's nothing, and again, I used to watch other pro sports and I don't watch very much anymore. But like basketball, I never really liked college basketball because you could just tell how much higher the level of the NBA was. And this opinion is probably outdated, but I back when I still watched it, I felt like the WNBA was the same. The level wasn't exciting as to watch as pro NBA players because they're just such insane athletes. Women's cycling compared to men's cycling, it doesn't have that divide. Like if you like one, I just can't understand not liking the other or not paying any
Mhm.
attention to the other. And especially with the spring classics being my favorite, they're usually it's just like it's an extra hour of TV viewing. You know what I mean? That you already have on. And again, if you don't care about any of it, you don't care about any of it. Fine. But I just like I have some friends that I still talk to, and they're like, "Oh, that was kind of a boring Strada Bianchi," and I'm like, "Well, not the Fems. Did you watch the other race? That was absolutely the best race I've ever watched in my life." So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I even I will. I'm gonna. I didn't watch the men's either, but so I will because again, once I heard the headline. I was like, I don't need to watch this. I'll be honest, I don't usually watch the classics. I tend to really only
Kick
watch.
him off.
Show's
Show's over.
Kick you off the stream.
I don't know. I like a good long tour, like a good stage race. Like, to me, that's the drama of the multiple day. Is it really what I like about watching racing? And I can get into the Giro. I've never really been able to follow. It just comes at a weird time for me. But like, anyway, so that's but even the Tour de France Femmes was equally as exciting, right?
Better. For the last few years, it's been way more exciting. Yeah. So last year, like, it totally looked like the favorite that everyone expected, Demi Vollering, was going to run away with it, and she got absolutely crushed on the last day by a rider who had been planning this the whole time, and the commentators weren't even aware of, like, Prevost, like, who actually outclimbed everyone, like, planned her whole entire year, who won Paris-Roubaix and the Tour de France, by the way, the two most diverse, like, completely different races that could be possibly happen. And after Paris-Roubaix, just set her up goals on knowing what that last stage was and what you would have to do. And it was fascinating. And again, Pogacar had completely run away with the Tour by a week in. It was already over pretty much if he didn't crash, he wasn't going to lose. And again, you're watching the greatest of all time, not taking away. But the women's the last few years has been a way more exciting Tour de France than the men's have been, And even the last time Pogacar didn't win, he was injured, and he got beat by the second greatest Grand Tour rider that exists in this era. So,
I don't necessarily agree with the one thing that you said, that like they're the same. And maybe that's not what you meant, but like, I find the biggest difference between the two is the men's races right now are way more like team tactics oriented, whereas I feel like the women's are more individual performance oriented, right? I feel like there's less like ticky-tacky team stuff going on, and like little marginal things happening throughout the race is more of just like, hey, a couple people go, and like that's the race, right? Like, I don't know if you agree with that, but that's been my take, and which does make for more exciting viewing, because there is certainly a part of me that loves that.
You're right, and that gap narrows every year as women's cycling becomes more and more professional. And now, like, a lot of the teams
are team strengthened, right? You need strong teams to do team tactics. If there's a very big imbalance, you're not going to have that.
And so even this year with Vollering, it's her second year with FDJ after she had left the team with Kopecky, who is one of the other best riders in the world, and they were just dominating everything. Well, now FDJ has really come together, and they actually rode really well as a team at Strade Bianche, and they basically... They got beat by the circumstances of the gravel roads and stuff like that. So, but that gap definitely, and I would say 5 years ago, it really felt like an individual sport in women's cycling. But that gap every year narrows, where the team tactics in women's cycling is getting there. And especially now that EF is the same team, women's and men's, Jumbo is the same team, women's and men's. So now a lot of the coaching is coming right across to both. And so it's leveling the playing field as more money gets into women's cycling and stuff like that. So you're right, though. There are still spring classics where you watch and, like, someone goes off the front and wins, and you're like, why aren't these teams doing anything about it? This would not happen in men's cycling. Which still sometimes in classics sometimes happens, but it would not happen in a Grand Tour.
That's fair, yeah. I would say I follow both, but I don't. I don't watch a ton of races other than the Tour de France, I'll be honest. But I think I'm gonna have to change that. I'm definitely gonna start. Maybe you sold me on rewatching the coverage from Strade Bianche, so I'll at least do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just my point of, like, they've intentionally put the races close together, so the fans on the roadside stick around, and the television coverage, and they could do more.
That part makes sense. That makes the most sense in the world to me, because I always wondered, what do those people do? Like, I know they drink beer, like
Mr. Size, Mr. Water, viewers, good evening.
I just
World
like
map
imagining,
emoji, red
all
heart
right, you go,
emoji,
you
palm
stake
tree
out the
emoji.
spot, and you spend all day sitting there, and then they whiz by in a minute, especially on like a flat stage, and it's like the mountains, at least, it's strung out. You'll have like 20, 30 minutes of people coming through, but like, man, you just stand there all day to cool.
when me and Aaron went to Paris-Roubaix, so we were on a bus tour that took us to a number of spots, and then Paris-Roubaix is unique because it finishes in an outdoor velodrome. So then you get to hang
Mhm.
out and watch the jumbotron, and then they enter and do the lap and a half. So,
Yep.
but yeah, when we were in the Arenberg Forest, it like that's the year Sagan won, and when they came by, you're just like, was that Sagan? Was that Bones?
Yeah.
Was that you're like it's fun to be there with everybody, but you're like again like Paris-Roubaix is unique to do it like the way we did because you do get to go and see the finish, and it's not a typical finish
Yeah,
where they just
that does
whiz
sound
by
actually
the line.
cool.
But yeah, you can just go
Yeah.
to a Tour de France stage. All you do is see them, and I mean, people just don't realize how fast pros are. Like Vanderpool is riding at such even in the Arenberg, the speed they came by. I mean, it was just a. I
Mhm.
mean, you would have to take your head and go like that if you wanted to pick out a jersey before they got there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
So I don't know that it's the same, but like I did watch one thing this past tour where somebody filmed for I guess 30 minutes ish all the like the motorcade that comes through before and after the race.
Yeah.
So like leading up to it, there's like all these sponsored sort of weirdly designed cars
Throwing
with
out
like
trinkets and it's a parade.
oh
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the cars themselves are a bit of a spectacle too, right? There's the Orangina mobile, like it's like a parade, right? So there's at least something coming through. So it's not so at least that way. Oh, it's like okay, it's a half hour. They come through. Then there was some straggling stuff, and then like all right, so it's like an hour that you got to stand there and like watch some stuff go by. That makes more sense than
Yeah.
like
Yeah, just
what?
and that's just a tour though. Like you don't get the whole
Yeah.
it's the caravan they call it. Yeah,
Motorcade.
you don't get that in
Oh,
like the
caravan,
sprint
that's right.
classics and all that stuff. So yeah, I think for the
Yeah.
big grand tours you get all the sponsor cars and then you see the break come, then you see the peloton come, then if it's a mountain stage the gruppetto come and all that stuff. So maybe it's worthwhile. And I think what in the mountain stages too, what a lot of those people who are fans do, they've ridden their bikes up there because these
Right.
take place in the afternoon. So you're making a day out of it, or the people who put their camper vans and all that. But yeah, in a spring classic, if you just pick out one spot on the road, it's just there they were. It's like
D Dub 650 made the point. Cyclocross is good for in person
Yeah, laps,
spectating. I
yeah.
agree. Crits are also the same
crits,
thing.
yeah.
But the one thing I will say is, so that's like if you're going to the one of the big tours, yes, they're like going from starting and finish. Most local road races are not point A to point B races. They are circuit races.
Yeah.
So if you go to view one of those, you will get, it's not going to be like a crit where they're coming around every 2 minutes, but you will get to see multiple things come through. And then a road race, there's again, other than the tour, there's going to be different categories. So if you hang out, you'll get to see the novice, you'll get to see the 3-4, you'll get to see the women's 3-4, you'll get to see the women's pro, you'll get to see the juniors, you'll get to see, right? So like there's a bunch of other races other than just the one race going on. So I would say road racing can be just as good to go see as cyclocross.
And the Flanders,
Obviously, what's happening on the bike is not as interesting as cyclocross, but
that's more of just a power race. But yeah, even the most of the spring classics have circuits or hit the same climbs over and over again. So Paris-Roubaix is an exception there, where I was saying it has its own benefit of the velodrome finish. But like if you go
Sure.
see the Tour of Flanders, they climb all those main climbs like 4 times, and so there's like chalets set up and stuff like that, and TVs, and so there are spots where you go and you're watching the race on TV, you're drinking beer, and then you're turning
Sure.
around and seeing them come by like 4 times. So like world
Got
champs
it.
are like that. There's a huge long race, but then they hit a finishing circuit like 4 or 5 times. So you're not just getting the whiplash once and then it's over. But I'll tell you what, the Belgian fans, they don't care no matter. Even at Paris-Roubaix, they were just out there drinking all day long in the Arenberg
Yeah.
just for that one glimpse, and then that's it. So
the old course classic that I always find a way to wedge in. That was another thing where they would do. It was a lot more. The road racing was circuit. There was a couple stages that were point A to point B, but for the most part, they were, the high level races are still going to be circuit races. So go to bike racing, even if you're not a racer. There's fun to be had, and a lot of times, even though those people get a bad rap, a lot of them are still just love bikes, and they'll still
oh
talk.
yeah, local
Like
cross
hanging.
races are a blast. I always have Woody puts on the one that I go to every year. I try to get to some of the Joy Machines ones up in Cleveland. Like it's yeah, local cross races are always a blast to hang out with, and
Mhm.
we don't have local crit races over here, but I know you guys do, and it sounds like a lot of fun as well. So
Mhm. Right. Speaking of not fun,
yeah,
so if anybody has not been following the news, New Jersey is again can't catch a break. Always negative we're in the news. So New Jersey enacted a really, really, really dumb e-bike law that I would be remiss not talking about. But I mean, it's going to be an overall bummer because there's nothing that any of us can do about it at this point. And I'm a little frustrated because we have a bunch of advocacy organizations that I attend their conference calls and, try to go to their events and stuff like that. And like, how did you let this happen? But so for those of you that haven't followed, or take a step back, what the most of the country has sort of been similar, state by state, it's a little different, but for the most part, everybody previously used the 3-class system and then a term called motorized bicycle, which has existed forever, which is essentially a moped, right? But so class 1 is limited to the basic governor, so it can only assist you up to 20 miles an hour, and you have to pedal. It matches your pedaling. But if you exceed a certain speed, it stops helping you. You would have to be pedaling all on your own to go faster than that. Great. Class 2 is essentially the same thing, but it doesn't require pedaling, so that's trigger. This is where I personally get a little bit iffy when people are like, class 2 you should have. What if your legs don't work? What if you have a mobility issue? What if you have that? Like, these people should still be able to use a bicycle to get around, even though they can't necessarily pedal the whole time, right? So just the thing to throw out there next time you're having that conversation. Class 2 should be, if the problem is overall weight and speed of the vehicles, there's no difference in class 2 versus class 1. You're just not liking it because you're think they're cheating or something like that.
yeah, cheating. Yeah.
They always use the throttle. So where things got weird was class 3, and different states considered classic. Class 3 is I always get a little bit off of this one, but I think would go up to 28 miles an hour. Could be just throttle, etc. It had a different weight limit. So, but a lot of states like New Jersey previously had classified class 3 e-bikes as motorized bicycles. So there was no such thing as New Jersey as a class 3. So if you were using one of those bicycles, it was already going to require insurance, it was already going to require a license, and it was already going to require registration to use, which is why most of those were illegal to ride. Nobody has any of that stuff. There's no insurance for it. Essentially, mopeds are illegal because of that. So, and then true motorized bicycles were always, required all that stuff. So what New Jersey did, because essentially one person really got this pushed through, was they got them to throw out all of that to just make a class called low speed e-bikes and then e-bikes, and then made all of them require registration and a license. The license you have to be at least 15 years old to even get. That's for both low end e-bike. The higher speed ones, they are also requiring an insurance thing as well, which no insurance company in New Jersey insures e-bikes. So essentially making it impossible to ride a high-speed e-bike. So this got pushed through to our governor at the end of the last year. We had a lame duck governor because Mikey Sherrill was elected. He was a Democrat, not my favorite guy, but was not some crazy Republican dude, right? But one of our state senators really there was a death in his hometown from a kid. And we've had it everywhere else. We've had a couple kids who've gotten hurt or had some pretty serious accidents, usually because they're not wearing a helmet. Usually they're riding the high power e-bikes, which they already shouldn't have been doing. And so this guy used those couple examples to get this legislation pushed through at the 11th hour, or whatever you want to call it. And so now we're stuck in this limbo. They've also been doing a piss poor job about getting this information out and explaining this to people. I know because I care enough to read it, but most people don't know. They just think, oh, they made them illegal. Then they also, other than the fact that you can't buy them online anymore and that you have to be 15 in order to do this, to ride one, they put a 6-month grace period on this. So you can still ride your e-bike and it doesn't change anything for the next 6 months while I figure out what to do. And I've seen some of the initial things of like how they're even going to try to register e-bikes. Like you have to get a letter from the manufacturer or something like that if you can't produce a sale receipt. Because anyway, it's a mess. And it sucks. And what really sucks is the only thing it hurts is the low speed or the previously class 1, because that now requires all this other stuff.
Yeah.
To make something illegal that was already illegal. These kids were already breaking the law. The adults that are riding your Onyxes and your Super 73s on the road without insurance and all this other stuff were already breaking the law. So you're just not enforcing the law that you already have. So you just made this other law that you're clearly not going to enforce. But the difference now, though, is if you get caught riding what would have been a Class 1 e-bike without this, that's points on your license. That means your insurance on your regular car goes up if you have one. That means you have to pay extra money every year to continue to register, to renew your license every year if you get caught riding a low-speed e-bike without all this stuff. So are you going to risk it? Like, I don't know. And they haven't made it really clear how to go through
because
it.
I don't think the cops aren't going to enforce it at all. So,
right.
So it's just stupid. They just made more of a mess. They just made things more confusing. So, like I said, I got sent an e-bike from the channel. I turned down e-bikes every single day. There was one company that sent one that looked like actually legit, and I rode it a couple times. It pedal assist, no throttle, whatever. It's class 1 up to 20. And then I gave it to my dad, who's had a bunch of heart issues. My dad loves riding his bike. He thought he would never ride an e-bike. What he does when he goes out on this bike is he rides it like a normal bicycle because it's light enough. And then when he gets to the hills to climb out of the valley from his house, if he wants to go downtown Akron or something, he kicks on one.
Great use.
It gives him the assist, whatever. Like, the fact that someone like that, if your New Jersey law went into a place, would have to have insurance and registration on this is insane.
Yeah.
Because it's like... and again, like, going to, and I agree with you that on like even throttled bikes, but that's just where we have all kinds of gray area laws and city ordinances, and it comes down to enforcement. If someone's just ripping the bike trail on a throttle, you can tell that, and that's where you enforce it. That's where park rangers enforce it. That's where things get enforced. But to force
and that's a speed limit issue, right? That's a regular bike going 30 miles an hour is also going to hurt somebody.
We have a 15 mile an hour. We have a 15 mile an hour limit on the towpath, right? Isn't that what it is?
Technically.
Yeah. But again, so if you do something wrong, here's the thing. You're not going to put a radar gun on the towpath, but if you're the guy who injures someone, that's when you're in trouble. That's what we have these ordinances and rules for. Not because I sometimes ride 20 miles an hour on the towpath once in a while. The whole point is that, like, when you do something stupid, you're culpable. That's the whole point of these things. Like, so not to make them all entirely illegal.
It's not going to make anything safer. It's not going to prevent any kid. That previously mentioned Tim Ho's 4th annual San Diego Coffee Outside will probably be cold. There will be cake. We were riding and there was plenty of kids, young kids, still on e-bikes, doing wheelies, no helmet. Like, it didn't change anything. I was walking on the path on our Columbia Trail on Sunday, and I still have people on the giant e-bikes whizzing by. They're not going that fast. Like, I'm not saying they're whizzing by like that, but just being like whizzing by as in they don't know the courtesy to be like on your left or ringing a bell. Yeah. I could hear them because I had my headphones on like the ambient mode, so I could hear everything that was coming. So I would know, move her off to the side. But these people are just like, and like, I'm walking, the traffic jam, right? And they try to go through the middle, and like, the problem with those people aren't e-bikes. You can see the same things about beginner cyclists. It's just they don't know the bike etiquette, right?
Yeah,
that's a advocacy problem. That's not a legal problem. But so it hasn't actually changed anything at the end of the day, because I doubt any of these people. Because the thing that they're doing, there is like the grace period for that doesn't exist because they were already illegal. So there's no grace period to do anything different with those things. So they're still just doing whatever they were going to do. So this whole thing is just perplexing and makes no sense. And I really do get mad at, like, we have this NJ Bike Walk and all these other advocacy groups. How can nobody get to Governor Murphy and explain that, like, yo, this is dumb?
Yeah, the whole
But
thing. I think it's frustrating right now with like around here with no enforcement in a way. It's like I don't or no education. There obviously needs to be. I don't know where the regulation comes in. Is it when you at point of sale like of like I like the stuff need to just be a little more explicit. Like I don't know, but that comes with anything, and there's growing pains of the e-bike segment for sure. I definitely have a problem with just an electric motorcycle being considered a bicycle. Like there is
yeah,
definitely an issue with that. Like when I just see someone ripping a scooter down the towpath at 30 miles an hour, it's like you don't belong here. Like or when
you're
they're
right.
ripping down a sidewalk, in a busy place.
Yeah,
It's like this is not where you belong. And so there does need to be there will be an alignment of stuff like that. But these draconian laws like this that have happened, what was Idaho the other state that had the some state before New Jersey just had the same kind of thing where they just basically outlawed everything because it's like, well, you need all these things that you can't get, like, and that's just
right.
stupid, like,
And I almost would have respected that more if they just flat out were like, e-bikes are illegal in the state of New Jersey. Like, okay, that's you're changing something. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like that at least seems like an attempt to do this. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't. There is the I think the root, not the root, but like an underlying problem that was starting to occur. Right, is so a friend of mine down the street is a police officer in a town called Summit, and he rides bikes too. But like we were talking, and he was like, "Oh yeah, they just put in a rule like outlawing e-bikes in like the downtown area or something like that." Like, how did they like? And he pulled up the thing and showed it, and like they defined it as like the only thing could be a two. You can only be on a vehicle, a bike. I forget they used a weird term, but like they basically said it has to be two wheels. Like so, somebody on a trike couldn't like a three-wheeled bicycle, like an elderly person that rides those, couldn't use that. Got it, okay. And like it was just like I'm like I can draw five different problems with this thing that nobody was thinking of because it was some town council, right? Was like, oh, some kid came ripping by me on one of these things, and now I'm gonna write a completely unresearched, dumb law, like uneducated law or into ordinance and for the town that then actually conflicts with the state one, right? So then it was like, and so I had to explain to them like, hey, if you get a chance to talk to them, have them like look at the state, the thing that you were talking about. The state already has laws that prevent that person from riding that there, right? Like you don't need to create a new law to do this. You as the police officer can give them a ticket at any point for violating the state law. Done. Problem solved. Like. So it's just one of those things. Not that I'm saying I want to, cops on the trails and with radar guns and doing all that either. Like that's not good for anybody either. But like, there's a difference between like that and like a 15-year-old on a very clearly electric motorcycle doing wheelies down the road. Like you got to enforce that. Like that.
yeah. Well, I was riding home this winter, and like I said, we had this hard winter, and so I live on the busiest street in Cuyahoga Falls, and it connects to Main Street in downtown Akron. And all the private businesses hire plow drivers, right? And there's a nursing home right before that bridge I ride over in all my video. These private plow drivers clear the lots and they pile all the snow right onto the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Bikes aren't allowed to ride on the sidewalk technically by our city ordinance. I come across
Yep.
the sidewalk on that one bridge all the time because there's no shoulder. Cars are speeding, which they're not enforcing that either. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So one evening I'm coming home. It's like 6 o'clock, and I see a cop sitting there in the mechanic shop. And so I pull up, and I was like, hey, and he like rolls down. He's like, what's up? And I was like, hey man, I was like, I just came across the bridge on the sidewalk. I know I'm breaking the city ordinance. Whatever. I was like, the thing that annoys me is not me. I'm a completely able-bodied cyclist. I was like, these 4-foot piles of snow across the sidewalk for people who are going to that bus stop right there or anything like that. I'm like, Cuyahoga Falls has to have laws that you can't do that, right? And I was like, it's got to be on the business owner. And he was like, well, yeah, they're busy and they're coming down the main street. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about the main street. I'm not talking about the snow that's getting kicked off State Road. I'm talking about this guy. here at Midas who has just made a 4-foot pile. So someone either has to walk in the street or put their foot into a 4-foot pile of snow to get to the bus stop or get to where they're going. He's like, well, I'm not going to waste my time enforcing that. And then he got into a nerdy triathlon conversation about bikes and riding Zwift with me. And I'm just like, you're the exact problem. And so, and again, it's like they make all these laws, but it doesn't matter because that's the only guy who matters. So unless
but you know what? That's the crazy thing. Dude, give out 2 tickets a year. Watch those sidewalks get cleaned, right? Because word will get out, at least in the smaller towns, right? Like, you give one business a ticket for not clearing their shit properly, every business will fall in line immediately because nobody wants to get fined, right? Like, same thing with these. If 2 kids get tickets and get in trouble, every parent in our town would be like, "Nah, you can't do this. Da-da-da, you're not going to get in trouble." On my blah, blah, blah. You'll have a couple that still will because they have bad parents or whatever, but like, that's the point. Is like, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but like, you gotta selective enforcement is never. God damn it!
There's a time
selective
to make
enforcement is not good. Never mind. I back Ivory. No,
there's a time to make an example out of people just to like get stuff going right. That's what I feel about these snow piles. It's like, hey, if you say like, here's a warning, don't fine them. Say, here's a warning. The next time your guy blocks the sidewalk, the right of way of the pedestrian, you're going to get the $500 fine. Then that business owner says, hey, you're not allowed to pile the snow in front of the sidewalk. Or your other guy in the passenger seat has to jump out with a shovel once in a while. That's totally reasonable. And it's totally reasonable with this e-bike stuff to be like, hey, we don't need it. Like you said, we don't need to outlaw the throttle up to 20. But when someone's abusing it, you hand out a couple tickets and then, hey, you're not allowed to do that here. You're not allowed, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's that difficult. But like I said, it all comes up to this. It's all about enforcement. And a couple people had said that. Illicit, forgot his screen name, but it said that too. He's like, it's not about the laws, it's about enforcement. Because we already have laws against, like you said.
Yeah, that say you shouldn't be piling this stuff out there.
You're already not allowed to block the right of way of a public sidewalk. It doesn't matter because the cops aren't doing anything about it. So,
You know what is funny though? Our friend Sonia. So I've been volunteering at that co-op down in Trenton. One of the friends from down there walks to the train station every day, and it was like the main thoroughfare to the train station was like still weeks after the snow, like in terrible shape. She started tagging the city of Trenton on Instagram every morning, and like shit started moving.
Yeah,
a bunch of people shared it. Like it was like city of Trenton, what the fuck? So yeah, there's ways to do it. It's funny, in our town, it was actually like the individual people of the businesses were fine. It was like where those stopped and public property started, the town wouldn't do it.
Oh, really?
Our town is perpetually, oh, we don't have the people, we don't have the budget, we don't have the whatever. I'm like, but we have it's a selective budget problem.
So I live in 2 places that have like Cuyahoga Falls and Akron, so there's a lot of public service, but people complain about all of it all the time, and cars are definitely the priority. But this is definitely a case where the city's not the problem. It is definitely the private business owners. Because when I moved here, I moved from another kind of commercial district, and when I would watch people in electric wheelchairs going out into this 2-lane street, a 25-mile-an-hour street that everyone does 50 down, I would be like, oh my, this is not fair. Like, there's a guy in the plow, and I get it. This guy's trying to make his living. He's trying to hit as many lots as possible. Doesn't matter. You got to do your job legally. Like, this is a guy who is not doing his job legally. Like, he's the one in charge, and so you have to find the business owner. That guy you hired is your subcontractor, and he's breaking the law. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's one of my strongest pet peeves. It really pisses me off. Like watching kids walk home from school, step out into a busy fucking street because someone needs to save 10 minutes every morning. Like, fuck that. Like...
No good. And especially like there's so many people out of work in the winter. There's so many seasonal jobs. There are plenty of people that would be, I don't know if you saw what New York City did, right? So they hired a record-breaking number of people, like day workers, to shovel during the big storm. They were like, show up here, bring an ID because we got to give you a W-2 to pay you, but like we'll hire any able-bodied person that can shovel and hand them a shovel, like make some money. So they hired like a record-breaking number of shovelers, and apparently the city after the storm was like within 24 hours was immaculate.
Huh.
So democratic socialism works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love
When
when
you put
like
the investment into place things that matter for people, it works.
I love when people are like the government can't change anything. I'm like they can't fix the economy. I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of World War II and how it ended the Great Depression? Like you fucking liar! Government
I
spending
know.
can fix everything. It literally can.
Yeah.
It literally can.
And not only that, but like there's certain pet peeve things of mine that are like not even the people, like the government, right? So like our town, it's a small town, I get it. We immediately have like the highest taxes in two counties, our tax realms. Like the people on the board, the council, and their mayor are always like the response to nothing is there's no budget. There's no budget for anything. There's no budget for this. There's no budget for that. We don't have a 9-person police force, but whatever. But I'm like, okay, hold on. We have this like incredibly dangerous intersection that the county, the county runs the Columbia Trail, which comes into one of our things. There's a thing where you come down a hill and then you like make a sharp, like you can't see the trail, and then you come down and you have about 20 feet to stop. Then if somebody was in the middle of the thing, I do not know how somebody has not died here yet. Like, and I brought up to the county, they agree it's a problem, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, just put a thing that's like, we can press a button that like alerts them that's high enough up that they can see it up there. Like there's probably a $5,000 to $10,000 solution, right? Like it's $1. It's $1 or $2 a person in town. Like I get that we all have a tax burden and like nobody wants their tax. I'm talking about $2 a person to save like on a road that literally had a crossing guard die on it.
Yeah.
Half a mile up the road last year. Like, can we just get the money to like make this one crosswalk that all these kids and all the like, if you're elderly, there's no way you're moving across that fast enough. You're going to get plowed. I don't know how people have not died there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean like they do better and better around here. As I'm sure Dave notices, like working for the parks too. Like they put in more and more of those flashers. Like where it's not perfect, but yeah, like. But again, like I also feel like okay, like we've just done this technology thing, and I'm like, okay, now we just need people to also like not ruin it all by putting a 5-foot pile of snow in front of it. Like it's like easier to like sometimes spend the money and put in the infrastructure than to do anything about the infrastructure. After it's there. So
yeah. That town, I want to address one thing though. Sorry, he says, is anyone really surprised that cop sucking government is dumb? At a state level, yeah. At a town level, I am surprised.
Yeah,
because we all live like it's not this far away problem. These are problems that are 2 feet away from where these people live, and like we have a police force in town, right? So it's like we're a 3 square mile town with 3,500 people. You can't enforce these laws here. Like, what are you? Why does you exist? Why does the police department exist if they cannot enforce these laws in a 3 square mile town?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
No, that's what
Not saying.
Every time like things go wrong at the state level, which is all the time in Ohio, or the national level, which has been all the time lately, I'm just like the thing we could focus on is local. Like literally, and like when people complain, like when I was still on Facebook, they would complain about something. I'm like, the people you're complaining about are not unreachable. Like they're not unreachable. And like our local newspaper just did a thing on like some of these like water line issues we've had going to houses and what it's costing these homeowners and just like factors outside their control because of other construction. And enough people complained that the mayor was posting on Instagram, thank you for complaining. Like we can't like Akron is, a 200,000 person city. Like and it's bigger than it was designed, for a 500,000 person city. He's like, we can't have our eyes on everything. It takes citizens acting up. He's like, now we see the issue and we're going to go and address it. You know what I mean? It's like these are not unsolvable problems at the local level, when we have them. It's like, but again, just like throwing a post out into the ether, it's like these are people that are reachable. You know what I mean? These are people who are answerable and responsible to us. And sometimes it takes showing up to a council meeting. Sometimes it takes doing the work too.
Yep.
Like again, I stopped to talk to that police officer to be like, hey, look at this bullshit. And then I'm like, oh, this guy's a shithead. Like, he, what? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He
Yeah.
has never considered the fact he's a triathlete. He's never considered the fact that someone from this nursing home is walking to this fucking bus stop. It doesn't
Yeah.
register in his head. Anyway.
I get very frustrated. Stop it. You're right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but like I know I'm going to get myself really worked up, so I'm going to pause it there.
Yeah.
But anyway, New Jersey, now you know what's going on in the state. It's freaking dumb.
Yeah.
I got to hunt down Jared to try to get the receipt from the e-bike I bought from him, and from his defunct from Hope Cycler, which does not exist anymore. Maybe he's got the receipt still. I don't know that. Maybe it's in my email. I don't know. But that's a problem I gotta deal with now in the next 6 months. So I can, because I'm gonna get mine registered, and I'm gonna freaking ride it, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna ready to have the fucking battle every time. Like, yeah, guess what? I did get it registered, motherfucker. Like, here's the. You want to see my papers? I got them.
Yeah.
Stop me, please.
Sew a little e-bike. You have to sew a little e-bike patch on your shirt pretty soon. Yeah. Where do we go from there?
I don't know.
Well, it is probably about time to wrap it up, isn't it? I have no idea what time it is. 10:30.
Yeah. I thought of a potential fun topic that we could do. I don't know if it maybe like a top 5 list of things to eat on the bike
Oh.
for next time, maybe.
Yeah, top 5
Them all.
things to eat on the bike. Yeah.
And we have to eat them all during the live.
Oh yeah, and then we bring them in. Yeah. Or maybe we both ride trainers and.
That's so actually okay. Maybe let's talk. We can make that work. I just have to make sure mine's not that loud. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I like that. So for next week Tuesday is St. Patrick's Day, and I go and meet some friends at like 8:30 in the morning at an abandoned bridge to drink. So I know this would be our off week anyways, but just for everyone else, I don't know if I'll make it back to live stream.
Yeah.
Again, I'll make it
I
back.
don't know if we
I
want
can
to
tell
make it
you
back.
from
Yeah.
historical,
Yeah.
you're not going to be
Hold
able
on,
to
run that
stream.
back. You're going to be drinking on an abandoned bridge.
Yeah,
Is your tradition?
Yeah. Started during COVID.
Alright.
So like I had some people I would meet on bikes, and then when they told us we weren't allowed to meet, we're like, well, we'll go in a broad circle over at what we actually call the beer bridge, but it's an abandoned train bridge, and we like sat in a circle, and now we've kept that tradition going, even though we don't have to, because it's just great. And then we go get breakfast, and then we make like a 10-mile ride before we get the next beer to break it up a little bit. But anyone knows me, I still end up drinking my fill before, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and
Yeah.
a 9 o'clock stream would be I don't know. I mean, maybe I come back, but I'm just saying next Tuesday is unlikely because it's St. Patrick's
Fair
Day. So we're 2 weeks out, and yeah, I like the idea. Top 5. I wonder if there's like a reverse of that, like a top 5 things not to do on the bike.
Things we wouldn't want to eat on the bike. Yeah.
So maybe it's both. Maybe it's the kind of sticking to the like and
Bag of
dislike.
spaghetti.
I'm actually picturing this wasn't a St. Patrick's Day, it was an International Clash Day where me and Ben went out and drank on a winter night, and I have these photos of him stuffing chicken wings in like one of those zipper pockets like that on a winter rain jacket, and then the sauce with the plastic lid like right into the pocket. It's like, yeah. So
Is it Ben or Brad?
Ben. Yeah, it was Ben.
Ben, okay.
Yeah, it was like the honey mustard, like right, shit-eating grin on his face, just putting the honey mustard into his pocket, with just chicken wings, like in there, like no foil, nothing. So yeah.
Well, let's try it.
Yeah.
Great. Let's talk. Let's workshop some ideas. But I'm game for whatever. It's
I like it.
thought I had the other day. I was like, this would be fun. And it's something actually people ask me a lot, especially as a vegan, because I have a little twist in that, right? So there's like a limiting factor to what I can eat. So people often do ask, what do you do for long rides? So I would love to talk about that.
Cool. Yeah, let's plan on that. So a couple
Cool.
weeks out.
All right.
So whatever that is, the 25th or something. So, all right.
Sounds good. All right.
Always fun.
Bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
See ya.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.